Hello, and welcome to what I am going to call the first true episode of my Sorare Road to Glory. I've had a couple episodes posted already where I've done a little bit of kind of MLS and trading investments. It's been fun, but I made a big decision. I'm really going to try and truly play Sorare this year. And that means that I have had to put in a cash investment to be able to have fun on the game. If we look now, current roster valuation is $623. That's because I put in a $500 deposit using the new wallet feature in order to, finance the game, because that's what you got to do. So today we'll be talking about my upcoming lineups for Game Week 401. One lineup might not be ready yet. I guess we'll just start with the pending things. This Johan Vissa I'm trying to get a hold of. Looking to make a bit of a Brentford stack. Really excited to see what they can do, and I think I've got a couple good players at decent prices. Vissa definitely is expensive, especially now that Ivan Toney, well, not that now that he has been, he's been out. Ivan Toney has been out, meaning that the other Brentford attackers have gone up in price, Vissa and Mbumo, because they are guaranteed playtime, and Vissa is scoring. So I am trying to get a Johan Vissa for my teams, but I think I'll just start off by kind of talking about the objective of my road to glory, which is basically to do as well as I possibly can. Of course, I'll play the amateur game modes. We could talk about those in a second. But then limited, the things I'm going to play: cap 220, cap 240, I think cap 270 as well. We'll delete this lineup because I'll make it on screen. Champion Europe limited. I've assembled a squad capable of potentially doing very well here. And yeah, those are the modes I want to play. I'm not too keen on the pro modes. I guess if I have extra players, I'll just chuck in a pro lineup. But yeah, I want to focus on the cap modes. Primarily because I like the idea of being able to kind of shuffle players in between each cap mode as they do better or worse in their last 15 changes, which you can't really do in the pro modes just because, of course, they're locked by the league in which they play in. That being said, I am still primarily only buying players in Europe just because it's easier to watch, easier to follow. I'm going to be living in Europe. Just kind of makes everything a little bit easier. We're kind of all on the same schedule. Just saves a bit of a headache at some point. So yeah, I think first up, we're going to assemble we'll do Champion Europe first just because it's the clearest. And what we're going to do, I have picked up, so I guess we'll go here as well. I've picked up a Mike Maignan. Where is he? Big Maignan, somewhere on here. Where'd he go? There he is. I picked up a Maignan, fantastic goalie. See, I've already, I guess, made a little bit here. Picked him up for 203, and he's had a couple spikes in price, but whatever. He's here to stay. Scores phenomenal. Obviously, this is of course when I believe he broke his hand, but when he's fit, he's fantastic. Milan have just assembled kind of a new era of their team, and I'm anticipating them to do very well with the likes of Pulisic, Ruben Loftus-Cheek, and a few more joining the team. Tijani Reinders, a lot of really exciting players, and I just think Milan are going to be very solid this season, and it's a team built for the future. And Maignan is always going to be a part of that at 28 years old, and even if he does leave, he's going to stay at one of the top teams in Europe and consistently do well. And of course, it appears that he might be the new French number one now that Hugo Lloris is retiring. So yeah, a lot of utility, great player, a monster as well. At least for a goalie, especially if he keeps the clean sheet, it's big. Yeah, I just think this is a really good pickup, and just a fantastic goalie. Of course, you got to pay for fantastic goalies on Sorare, but it is what it is. He is up against Torino. I guess we'll do this kind of duel with the lineup builder. So we'll go to Champion Europe Limited. Yeah, Maignan. The AI agrees with me as well. Torino in 12th right now. Don't really know much about them. Haven't paid that much attention to Serie A yet. But now that I'm really playing Sorare again, I definitely will. Next up, I have got a bit of a Barca stack. It is going to be Jules Koundé. Fantastic player for Barcelona. Can play at center back and right back. Young will be part of that team for the next probably 8-10 years. And always scores very, very well. I'm very happy to have Koundé there playing against Villarreal away. A little bit of a difficult fixture, but this Barca team, they had a slow start. Very interesting game against Getafe. Got very scrappy, but I think they'll recover well. And hoping Koundé can do well. We can look at him a bit as well. See where I picked him up for. There's my purchase price. So he's dipped a little bit, but that's okay. I bought him for the long term, not for the now. Fantastic scoring defender, has the peaking potential. And yeah, to do well in Champion Europe, you have got to have these consistent high 60s. He does have the odd poor game, but if we go just to Barcelona here, you can see that, for the most part, he's going to be very good. If he makes a mistake every now and again, an error leading to goal kind of killed his score. Only played 45 minutes there, but when he's starting, fantastic. I mean, almost a 60 average. He's just a great player to have. So yeah, Jules Koundé is my defender. In midfield, I have picked up both Solly March and Frenkie de Jong. It doesn't really matter who I put where. Frenkie de Jong, same thing, going to be up against Villarreal. De Jong, versatile player, will always be playing in that Barca team. Great player. Wish he had joined United at the time, but it's probably better for his scores that he's still at Barca. I think what you're paying for De Jong is more of the peaking potential as opposed to the consistency. Of course, he is still very consistent, but he does have the odd poor performance if we just go to Barca here. Sometimes if the game just kind of bypasses him, like against here 4-0 against Betis, just wasn't really involved in this one, I suppose. Which that happens, but overall, I think, especially with his decisive ability to get assists and the odd goal, I think he's a really great pickup, and stacks well with Koundé. And to complete the Barca stack, I do have the man Robert Lewandowski. This is kind of my attempt to get the best scoring player I can for the price, and of course, he's this cheap because of his age. He's 35 years old, but there's no doubt he's going to be playing the entire season, and maybe even a little bit beyond that. Never relied on his pace. Hasn't been out of this world for Barcelona, but still, I mean, extremely high scoring player. Will get me the points I need to win rewards. Decisives, gets them frequently. If he doesn't get a decisive, it can be a bit slow for him. But I anticipate Barca as they find some form again. Like I was saying, this Getafe game was rough, but they didn't beat Cadiz 2-0. He did get an assist. He's always going to play 90 minutes. So I think once Barca come up to speed, especially with the likes of Gundogan now and behind him, I think the chance creation is going to be a lot better. Lamine Yamal, Fati coming back, I think Barca are going to score more goals. And yeah, of course, Lewandowski will be at the heart of that. Finally, Solly March, picked him up. Brighton are fantastic. March is fantastic. One of those players that I don't ever really seeing being benched by Roberto De Zerbi, just because of how crucial he is. Here I believe he picked up a small injury towards the end of the season. But when he's playing, he's unbelievable. Decisives, gets them very frequently in this phenomenal Brighton team. And he's one of those that I don't really anticipate him leaving Brighton. It's not like he'll go to a bigger team, and perhaps get less playing time, or struggle like Caicedo perhaps has, or Cucurella. March is going to be at Brighton just because of his age, 29, and he's always going to be one of the main men. You can see he's started the season phenomenally, and a great fixture at home to West Ham, where I think he could be phenomenal. And because of that, home to West Ham, I believe I am going to captain Solly March. A little bit of a big call, we've got Barca players, but away to Villarreal could be a difficult match. I think March is essentially a nailed on here to do well. So yeah, that is the Champion Europe team. Next up, we're going to go to Cap 240. this is my first time really kind of assessing the team I have. Sorry, the squad I have of players for the cap mode. So we're kind of gonna have to work through it. I have Soria and Vysen. Soria, I mean, Getafe are always going to struggle, and same thing with Vysen. You know, cheaper keepers are going to play for the lesser teams. But for cap 240, I think I'm going to go Vysen just because of the cost. 56 is just a bit too much for cap 240. Defensively, interesting choices here. Oh, you know what? Let's make sure we lock in these teams. I don't want to forget on here. That way I don't, accidentally consider another player. Even though, yeah, I know Frankie de Jong doesn't belong in my cap 240 team, but just for the sake of organization, let's keep everyone locked in. March captain, save. There we go. Okay, cap 240. So yeah, Vysen, good player. Etienne Vysen can score decently well. Cap 240. This is what you need. You need the odd peak now and again. They've struggled at the beginning of the season, but they have played AZ and Erenven, two pretty good teams. So it's a little bit expected. I think they'll start to recover though. A little bit of an easier fixture here, so I think it could be okay. Now in defense, this is where things get interesting. I did pick up a Ben Mee. He's very cheap right now just because he started the season injured. He'll be back in starting. But I also did pick up Max Kilman, Nico Williams. These two are MLS players that I am getting rid of. Same thing with Marcelo Silva. So I guess it's kind of just assessing fixtures here. Luis De Lucas. I got him just because he's a really interestingly scoring defender. A couple of peaks here. Very limited kind of sample size here, but he's played 2 games for Livingston and done very well this season. And it's not like he's relied on, unlikely decisives. These are 2 AA monster games that he's had. So I'm considering playing him. Of course, he is away against Hibernian, sorry. So, away games, you'd rather have a player playing at home. On the other hand, I could play Pablo Maffeo. Again, these are all new players to my team, so I'm kind of unsure as to who I really want and where. Maffeo hasn't exactly played well the first 2 games of the season, but he does have the peaking potential. It's an interesting one. On the other hand, we could go Max Kilman, who is going to be against Everton, 2 of the worst teams in the Premier League. They played phenomenally against us. And he got 45 points. But then, of course, Brighton, they were humiliated and he got booked. I don't think he'll normally be this bad, especially because of the fact that Everton have almost no attacking weapons. Neil Mope is really the worst of their problems, and Alex Iwobi. So I'm kind of thinking about going Kilman here. 44, very low cost as well. Yeah, I think I'm going to go Max Kilman in here. And then perhaps Luis De Lucas or Pablo Maffeo in the cap 270 lineup. We'll see. Going into midfield, this is where things also get interesting. I've got Billing, Jensen, Gibbs White, and Pelistri, who I am currently looking to sell, as it looks like he'll probably go find first-team football somewhere. Make a little bit of a profit on him. Gibbs White, I kind of want to save for cap 270. Just with that L15, I think that makes a little bit more sense. But at the same time, I have Jensen. Forward-wise, Nketiah. This is the thing I'm thinking about. Do I want to pair Awani and Gibbs White in this lineup? In addition, I have Kramer. Very good scoring player. I actually probably should use him here. Already gotten 2 goals for RKC in losses. He's kind of their main man. And again, they've got an easier fixture. Of course, my goalkeeper, Vysen, plays for the same team as Kramer, so a little bit of a stack there as well. And I think again, they're away from home, but Kramer does manage to find the back of the net fairly consistently. But that L15 of 52 does concern me a little bit. I don't know, interesting decisions here. I'm fairly new to Sorare, so it's kind of hard for me to get a frame of reference into how to pick these teams. And I don't have Yohan Wissa yet. Let's see if that trade has gone through yet. Because I would really like to have him. It's not gone through yet. Hopefully this guy accepts. I tried to give him as much as I could. That's all the ETH left in my account. I think for cap 240, I'd probably want to do the Vissa and Jensen link up here. Let's see, what is Vissa's last 15? 46. Okay, so 46 and 52 is 98, which means we would have 53 left over for an extra, which would probably become 53 left over. Let's see, sort by last 15. Ooh, I'd probably go billing. I don't know. We'll come back to cap 240. Let's go to cap 220. Save that for now. We'll think about that. It's kind of hard to make that decision without Vissa in the team yet. I just don't have enough ETH to buy this outright. Otherwise, I would. So cap 220. This is where things definitely get interesting. This is where I get to use a keeper, an amateur keeper. I was looking at this earlier. I do agree. Providel at home to Genoa. This is probably the play. Arsenal, Ramsdale at home as well. Oof. Actually, that's one to really consider. Fulham have almost no attacking weapons anymore. Mitrovic out. Arsenal are going to want to make a statement at home. Actually, I think Ramsdale is the pick here. Especially at 42 points. It gives me a lot of wiggle room elsewhere in the team. I think I am going to go De Lucas as well. In very good form to start the season. Who says he can't continue that? We decided that we are going to go Jensen and Vissa in the other lineup. I think I'm going to save Gibbs White and Awani for cap 270, which means Philip Billing will be here in cap 220. And Nketiah as well, of course, with that extremely low L15. Makes perfect sense here. And then Kramer, I believe, is the one that, kind of completes this lineup. And I actually like this. I think this is pretty decent. Let's go lock this in on Sorare itself. I like the look of this lineup. I like it a lot, actually. I think there's a lot of potential here if Kramer scores and Nketiah gets a goal again. Might have to sell Nketiah after this game week if Jesus comes back. Especially if I can still turn a profit and maybe buy him back when his price deflates a bit. As he becomes a substitute again. If he becomes a substitute, you never know. If he plays well. Billing, we didn't really talk about him. Just thought, it's good to have players that are kind of key members of a squad. Billing is the key member of the Bournemouth squad. They made some interesting signings. Tough game against Liverpool here, but he did do well. A little bit of a lucky decisive with the clearance off the line, but he is a player who, as we know, can score goals, 7 goals and an assist. So, I think he's a great cap 220 player. So we have decided to go with Aaron Ramsdale here. Louis De Lucas and Philip Billing. Kramer. And where is he? Eddie Nketiah. There we go. So yeah, I like the look of this team. I really do, actually. I think there's definitely potential there. Then if we go to cap 270, this is, of course, where things get interesting with my Nottingham Forest boys. Goalkeeper-wise, we are going to go with David Soria. Just thought he's a good keeper for the price. Not fantastic. They're never going to get the picking score, but that's okay. I think the AI overweights form a little bit. In terms of, Soria, his team doesn't normally win and he still gets good scores because he makes a lot of saves. In defense, really only one option here. Nico Williams is not projected to start, which means we are going to have to go with Pablo Maffeo. Not really a fan of that. This is where I might have to do a bit of tinkering with the lineup. But here's where Gibbs White comes in. Taiwo Awani. And then aside from that, we have put aside Jensen. Busovsky isn't in the team, so without Nico Williams and Ben Mee or Vissa, we do have a bit of a problem here, so we might not actually be able to submit a cap 270 lineup. I want to prioritize cap 240, so we have Kilman, Vysen, Matthias Jensen. This would be Vissa. And Maffeo we can't use. Awani and Gibbs White we can't use. Yeah, so I guess it is a bit of a problem here. We are kind of missing a player, which means I think we're going to just have to prioritize Cap 240. And next week is when I'll start to play Cap 270. Might have to shuffle some players around. I still have some players listed up. Let's see my listings. Yeah, if this Pilistri sells, the Mbaizo sells, Abika, Musovsky, I'll be able to pick up a couple pieces to complete the team, which is okay. So until Vissa gets here, we're just going to put in Awani and Pablo Maffeo. But this is going to change to Vissa right here, which should work well. Yeah, I think this is a pretty decent team. I mean, Kilman. And we're looking at the Cap 220 versus the Cap 240. I keep on doing this. Let's get Jensen in there. Awani. Let's just save that just so I can go back and forth. You know, maybe there's a shout to say that Kramer perhaps is better served here to help me reach the threshold, and I'm actually considering that, moving Awani to Cap 220. Yes. Okay, so with Gibbs White, we've got too many pieces here. Okay, so let's work this out. Might have to not use Kilman. Now we have to use Kilman. So it might be Jensen who has to go. I don't like that, though, at all. Billing instead of Jensen. I don't know about that. Cap 240. Let's see. Let's see what the AI suggests. Just curious. I don't have Marcelo. But that's interesting that it would go with that. I mean, of course it would, because it can't fit Kilman in. And Nottingham Forest are at home to United, so it is a difficult result, or a difficult game anyway. Interesting. Of course, if we go Nketiah against Fulham, then we are definitely able to go Jensen or Gibbs White. I think Jensen, much better fixture against Crystal Palace at home, as opposed to United, away especially, which means we're left with 55 to pick whoever we want. In this case, it probably would be Kramer. Yeah, I think in hindsight, this is a better team. Great fixtures here, kind of for everyone around the board. This team could certainly hit the threshold. I think it probably will. Wait a second. No, we don't want Sorare here. No, wait. Yes, we do. We do. Sorry. Apologies, guys. It's really my first time building a proper lineup. Okay, so then we go back to Cap 220. De Lucas, great player, Elf 15 of 41. That's what we want to see. Philip Billing. Taiwo Awani. And then I guess it has to be Nico Williams on the bench. There's not really anything else. Let's see what the AI suggests. I'm just curious. See, Musovsky I don't have. It says Digne, interesting. I mean, of course, we could just chuck Awani in there. And it suggests to use Vysen and use Digne. Digne is going to play. Alex Moreno is out injured. And they are playing Burnley. That's interesting. Hadn't considered that because, of course, if we don't play a cap 270 lineup, Vysen is freed up to be played here. This could be very interesting. See, this is why I like having the cap modes available to me. I can, interchange everything, just as we've done here. Digne at L15 at 33. I think this is probably the lineup. Just, of course, changing out a Wanye. Just want to look one last time. We can't get Gibbs White in. Way too many points. Is there anyone else I'd rather consider? I'm just looking at my limited options here. Nee will come back into the team, I think. High L15, but, he'll be a good cap 270 player when he's fit. Billing in a 1 year in the team. Yeah, so I think that I like the look of this team now. Billing, not a great fixture, home to Spurs, but you never know. Spurs, who knows? They're always capable of pulling a bad game out of the hat. Maffeo against Granada, I guess this is the type of game we'd prefer against a lower level team. Much better if he was at home. Same thing, Awani, it's going to be difficult, but I'm telling you now, I'm a United fan. We are bang out of form. Certainly potential there for them to hurt us. I just feel the decision here is, do I go Jensen or Gibbs White? And I guess that's a good selection dilemma to have. And in this case, I think it makes sense to base it off fixtures. Gibbs White just simply has the worst fixture. Jensen, home to Palace as opposed to away to United. Even if we are out of form, I just think this makes a lot more sense. Jensen looks set to play as well. So yeah, I think I'm happy with these lineups. Yeah, let's lock them in here. And then we'll just do kind of a final wrap up. And then that'll conclude this episode. It's been a lot of fun recording. Getting stuck into Sorare. I'm really excited. Oh my god, it deleted the team. Okay, it's okay. I think it'll be the same lineup and we just changed Musovski. Yep. I'm gonna keep on doing that probably the whole year. Okay, saved. Cap 240. This looks saved. Yep. Okay, we're good. This is the lineups I want. Perfect. Back into here. So yeah, overall, I'm really excited. I'll be playing Sorare this year. I think it's a great game. I really do. I like being able to kind of pay attention to other leagues around the world. Have a say in, wow, I sure hope Pablo Maffeo plays well. It's just fun to kind of follow other players. Philip Billing, hope he grabs a goal against Spurs. Not that I wouldn't hope he wouldn't anyway. Love it when Spurs concede. But yeah, I think Sorare just adds an extra dimension to having fun with football. And now I feel like I've put in the funds needed to really, be able to get a team going, get a couple of lineups. Which, is tough to do. It's a lot of money, but I think it's worth it. It's something fun to do every week. Let's go back to our Cap 240 team that we had here. Soria, of course. Max Kilman against Everton. Good lineup. Good fixture there. There's the Jensen, Kramer, and Nketiah. Yep. And Nketiah. Where did he go? There he is. Of course, no captain in Cap 240. But yeah, I like the look of my lineups. Let's see, just real quick. Can we throw in a cheeky Premier League Pro lineup? Well, 270 points, of course, with Pro. Let's go with Allison. Trippier, right? It's one common, of course. Why not throw in a Nico Williams? Why not throw in a Gibbs White? We don't have the strikers. That's the problem. Okay, that's fine. So yeah, now that's kind of the limited portion of today's episode done. I'll just go through and show you my Bundesliga teams. Can we zoom this in a bit? I like it more zoomed in. That's better. So yeah, Serie A, I've got Provedel, Teo, Luis Alberto captained, Domenico Berardi, and Joshua Zirkzee. Zirkzee I'm not too happy about having, but I just thought I want to go heavy on the other four, and then kind of see what we can do from there. My Premier League team, very happy with this. Allison, Trippier, Rodrigo, not Rodrigo, of course. Mo Salah and Awani. Salah, I mean, if he goes to Al Ittihad, it's kind of a game changer. For Liverpool, I mean, that could be the catalyst for a real spiral. Because he's kind of the face of the team. MLS, I'm not really paying too much attention to anymore. I am an Inter Miami season ticket holder. That's why I have Kremashki captained. He is our GOAT. But the others, it's just kind of, players I just had lying around from when I did the first draft. I don't even think Polito starts anymore. Probably next episode I'll redraft this, do a couple swaps, maybe. I don't know. I think I've kind of transitioned to Europe. La Liga, Ramiro, Kunde, Frankie de Jong, Iago Aspas, and Vinny, Captain Vinny. Who are Real Madrid playing? Let's see. Away to Vigo. And that's not an easy game. But, I got to back Vinny to score. Liga, I have Juve, Klaus, Bodegaard, Sherky, and Tagliafico. Just good players. Captain Bodegaard, I believe they're at home. Let's see. I like to just verify my information, make sure I'm not making stuff up. And they are. They're at home on Sunday. To Le Havre. So that's a good lineup, or a good fixture, excuse me. And I've got 2 of the Lyon boys. So I like the look of this team. It's all right. Bundesliga amateur, Trapp, Frimpong, Captain Kimmich, Coman, Sebastian Aller. Just kind of those, Frimpong, he gets an assist maybe. Trapp does well, keeps a clean sheet for Frankfurt. Bayern do the usual thing, and Haller grabs a goal. We could be doing something in amateur. So, yeah. And then our 3 teams are here for limited champion Europe. There's Magnan, Kunde, March, Lewandowski, De Jong. Cap 220, Vicen, Maffeo, Billing, Awani, Digne, of course, now starting with Moreno out. That 33 L15, I think that's a real kind of clutch moment there. And then Cap 240, Soria, Kilman, Jensen, Kramer, and Nketiah. It's not the best team. It definitely could, it kind of lacks a bit of a wow factor. I would have liked to have kind of the pairing here of Vissa and someone else. But if the Vissa transfer does get accepted, might change something here. And Cap 240, shuffle Cap 220 around, we'll see. But if not, if it doesn't get accepted, you got to make do with what you have. Especially because when does the game week start? I mean, it's soon, 11 hours. Who knows if I'll even be awake, so got to lock something in. So yeah. Those are my lineups for game week, 401, I believe. Yep, game week 401. And yeah, we've done a review of my club, kind of the state of everything, where I'm looking to go. Again, I'm fairly new to the game. I've known about Sorare for a while, but I've never really done anything more than log in now and again and move some players around. But now I'm ready to take the game seriously, and hopefully my boys do well. So yeah, thanks for watching, and stay tuned for the next one.